because all I have to say is the iguanas are going to fall from the trees and the fire marshals have to be ready with little hookies to take the iguanas that fall from the trees.
Nicole and Briana are lined up on the grid. It's lights out, and away we go on this week's grid walk.
It's a race week again, so we're going to run through our predictions. Last week, we both were correct that Fernando Alonso... Oh, no. We were both correct that Lance Stroll was P7. I was correct that Fernando Alonso was P4. We were both correct in the sprint that Red Bull was going to score the most points. That was the extent of it. We really got most of the other things wrong. And I have now pulled in the lead by 8 or 9 points, I believe.
And I also do not have anything to embarrass myself, but honestly, I've been avoiding putting on any of the McLaren merch that I bought last year, and I'm currently wearing one right now, and that really does feel like enough of somewhat of a punishment for my picks this week.
I agree.
For being still not winning, but we're playing the game.
I think the punishment this week is the FOMO we're both going to feel not being at the Miami GP, even though weeks ago we talked about how we should probably just go because we're going to feel FOMO, but it's okay. So, Nicole, did you change your P1 this week, or did you also pick Max?
I also picked Max. Checo could P1 as many times as you want in a street circuit, nope, I haven't been given enough evidence yet to change my winner yet.
I also just am going to be annoyed if I change it and then Max wins, and then at least I'm not getting the +1 in our predictions for doing it. It's called
we're too
hedging
competitive.
My emotional response. Okay, P4, who do you have?
I have Fernando Alonso for P4.
Ooh. I have George Russell.
Ooh!
So I think this, unlike last week, I'm going to keep talking about rear limited and front limited circuits because until the Mercedes upgrades next race week in Imola, this is what we've got. So this track is less like Baku, and because it's front limited, which means that of the 3 teams, Mercedes might not suck this week. So I'm thinking a P3, P4 Mercedes showing this week. And yes, wait.
I was already going
to
there,
myself.
but I'll let you do it to yourself.
Yeah. So, is it hopeful? Yes. Do I think a Mercedes is going to be on the podium? Yes. And I think if Lewis is going to be on the podium, George is going to be P4. That's
just.
But Mercedes should have the best weekend of the 3 bunch, theoretically. But Ferrari is bringing upgrades, allegedly. It's as of right now, it's Tuesday. So right now, it's rumored that we're finally getting some Ferrari upgrade. But I'm just excited that there's finally a rumor, if I'm being honest.
I know, right? Because that's exactly, we were just talking, I think last week, maybe the week before. It's all starting to blur that it was just like crickets from Ferrari. And we're like, this is the most un-Ferrari thing at all. But, all right, so who do you have as your best of the rest in your P7?
Charles, I think it's going to be a rough Ferrari week. Too hot. Bad tire dag. It's going to be rough, in my opinion.
Good weekend. I'm still just so happy for him. I have Lance in my P7. I just didn't want to move it. It felt good, felt right, kept it there. Rooting for Lance to do good things.
But you're putting him far below where I know you have Fernando, though. Rooting for Lance to do good things puts him P7. Okay.
Hey, a year ago, me would have been like, Lance is going to DNF. So, growth. That's what we call growth.
Yep. Okay, who do you have for P10?
I have Yuki.
Ooh, you want him to you think he's going to continue his streak of points?
Now that I'm rooting for him and I have him in a streak of points, he probably won't because that's just exactly what's going to happen. But I basically was trying to decide between like my rooting interest in P10 and my rooting interest in highest points. And that's kind of, and we'll get to that in a second, so I won't go too much farther, but that is how I ended up going with Yuki and the fighting for points every single week. It was just a really interesting stat and everything that I was just kept them in P10. So what about you?
I put Esteban Ocon. Just because I don't have faith in that Alpine, but I want good things for Esty Bestie, so I think that he'll be in the points this week. Hopefully. Please.
I wanted to put him so badly in P10, but I just didn't even want to give him my potentially bad juju. I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I need a week where I just leave him alone because I've been like really drilling him in like different spots in my picks, and I just haven't gotten him once.
I don't know if that's your fault or just Alpine. Yeah. Everything we said before. Okay, and then we ended off with picking the best of the rest. So the bottom 5 teams in the constructors standing right now are Alpine, in no particular order, Alpine, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri, Haas, and Williams. Which of those teams do you think is going to score the most points this week?
I am hoping that it will be Williams. And here's my pitch for this.
Okay.
I really want Alex to get points. I want Alex to get points so bad. And it's Logan's home race. He is a Florida boy. It is his race. So I'm hoping just some positive energy that maybe some good things, magic, aka, could happen. So my P10, I almost picked Alex because I was like trying to manifest. And I'm like, you know what? I'll put Williams because you have that like home race piece of like maybe some magic and DNFs will happen for other people that are not Williams that can get Williams up. But putting it out there in the universe, gotta try something different. What do I have to lose? I'm already losing.
Yeah, but you're gonna keep losing by more. But you know what? At this point,
biscuit.
Like,
get the biscuit.
If one of us picked AlphaTauri last week, we would have gotten the points. Like, I think that's the whole point is we're trying to, if we were like, what team's going to score the most points? We'll just be boring and pick Red Bull every week. So
yeah, no, that's why we're best of the rest. So I'm literally going with as like, basically is, I'm pretty sure Williams right now is last. I'm going with Williams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they only have 1 point and AlphaTauri has 2 points.
Oh.
But I wouldn't put Williams at the bottom just in pure car pace.
Right. I'm literally talking in sheer, like, just standings, points, that kind of thing. Yeah. But I'm picking Williams, going with vibes, spice. I don't know. I need to try something different. Who knows what'll happen? But pick Williams. How about you?
I stuck with Alpine. Because one of these weeks, they will score points and no longer be P6 in the championship, I think. So
it's the smart pick. It is exactly where my brain was a week ago of like
both of us.
Right. It's that there's no reason they should be where they are.
Yeah, I don't know. I also they did make changes to the circuit this year to hopefully make better racing, and they're going to repave it because there was a huge issue with the surface of the track last year. Essentially, they didn't like Miami asphalt, so we'll see what happens. And maybe they'll ship in asphalt from a different part of the country. But there are a bunch of changes, so we can't fully predict exactly how cars will behave. But it does have those like 3 long straights in the alligator mouth, so.
And it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be so hot. And if you aren't believing me, it's gonna be hot. And then when they're talking about how it's hot, be like, wow, she was right. It's gonna be hot.
Well, we're really gonna get a good idea of what cars have good tire degradation and what cars have bad tire degradation this week. Oof, it's gonna be a rough Ferrari week. Last week, I told you that there was going to be a Ferrari on the podium. And guess what? There was a Ferrari on the podium. This week, I'm telling you, if both Ferraris make it to the finish line, call it a win.
To be fair, last week you said flip a coin. One of the Ferraris is going to DNF. Yeah.
Neither did. It's because it was so much cooler than expected. Okay. But one of the Ferrari engines did DNF. So.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So I think it was accurate analysis that didn't come to fruition. And that
there was too much, like, I got to see, like, Happy Charles again after his, like, depressing piano music, and then he's just, like, gets pole, and he's like, only Ferrari, it's a Ferrari, and then he's on the podium, and I'm just like, but it's so funny if you go back and listen to his radio, his podium of getting P3 at the end of the race and, like, being on the podium is so not as happy and joyous as him getting pole. Like, it is such a right, of course, obviously, but it's like maybe like finally like, oh, not only did you like finish, but like you'll be on the podium, but it was just like you would think he like didn't even finish the race. It was just he was just like, yeah, less troubles this time. I'm like, yeah, less troubles. You finished the race, and
no one makes
me better than 7th.
No one makes me more pessimistic for the future of that Ferrari car than Charles Leclerc.
No, you know who does make me more pessimistic was when that he's on the radio and he's like, oh, it was a cat. And I'm like, if Charles Leclerc just saw a black cat in the middle of an F1 race, I immediately thought the whole engine was going to just like stop working immediately. So that's why I think I was so stunned that he ended up on the podium at all, let alone finish the race because of the cat. Thank you for listening to this segment from episode 15 of Gridwalk. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're here, and definitely subscribe for more F1 videos. But you listened to this whole video. You made it this far. Listen to the rest of the podcast. It's just as fun. So come on, click right here. Look, ready? You move your mouse. Ready? Follow right over here. Click. Click.